Hey, it's Jess. Welcome back. Today I am here with my mom and we are going to do a tag video. It's called the, I think, rapid fire tag? Yes, the rapid fire tag. I saw this tag for the first time. Chelsea from Libraries and Lattes did it and I liked that idea. And I liked the questions and I wanted to film something with my mom, so I thought we would do this tag. So, say hi.
Hello.
Hi, this is Terry.
From St. Pete, Florida.
Okay, so rapid fire, it's 24 questions. Yes, 24 questions, and I'm just going to ask them and then we'll answer.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be rapid fire, but sometimes it's hard to think of things quickly.
Okay.
And I will probably explain my answers. It's fine if you do too.
Okay.
All right, first question is ebook or physical book? Which do you prefer?
Physical.
Physical?
Yep.
Why?
Old school. Love it.
Okay.
Like the feel of a book in my hand.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way books smell.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. To me, it really depends on the situation. Because, like, I was just out of town at a basketball tournament for my son, so I had my Kindle with me because I love ebooks times like that, so that I can, like, read a whole bunch of books. Like, it's easy to carry, and if I finish a book, then I have another book waiting for me. But, like, before I go to bed, or if I'm sitting on the couch, I usually prefer a physical book.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's convenience.
Okay. Next one. Paperback or hardback?
Paperback.
You don't look very sure.
I guess it doesn't really matter. I mean, paperback mostly because I carry one with me most every place I go, and paperback's just more convenient and not so heavy.
Yeah. This is another situational thing for me. I prefer to read a paperback because hardbacks are like so thick and heavy.
Yes.
But for displaying, it's better to have a hardback.
Yeah, and if it's a book I really want to keep, like I really
Right.
care about, then
Yes.
definitely hardcover. Especially with the new spreads.
That means sprayed edges. I hate that word. Which I think that's funny because I say that, but like all of the books, like this one and this one over here, are paperback. Like I have them out displaying, but they're paperback. Usually I would pick paperback.
Okay.
I did just rebuy, like I just bought the Hunger Games, the first trilogy, because I had them as ebooks, but I didn't have them as physical books. And I bought all of them as hardback because the other two, like you sent me Ballad,
Right.
and it was hardback, and Sunrise I know was coming out as hardback because it's new.
Yeah.
So if I'm buying a series like that, I like them to all be the same.
Sure. That makes sense.
And those weren't too hard to read. But I will say, when I read a hardback, I take the dust jacket off. Because I hate messing with it, unless it's from the library and it's taped on.
Right.
But like my physical books that I own, I take the dust jacket off the hardcover.
I actually do that too.
Yeah, because it's so hard to like fiddle with. I already know your answer for this one, but online or in-store book shopping?
In store.
Yes.
Considering I work at one. So.
This is my mom that works at Barnes & Noble, so obviously she does in-store shopping most of the time. I usually do too, partially because I usually go with her. Online shopping, the only time that I really do online book shopping is like if I'm looking for a specific book, like when I bought Bloodmarked and Oathbound, the Legendborn cycle. I wanted those and I could get them quickly through Amazon.
There you go.
And or like Sunrise on the Reaping, I could get it the same day, and I actually got it like very early in the day and it was cheaper. So it's usually if I'm looking for a specific book, but if I want to just like go browse, then I don't do that online. Some people do, but not me. Trilogies or series?
I have no feeling either way
Okay.
about that.
Or a standalone?
I love books. I really don't have a preference on that.
I think, again, it kind of depends. Like, some stories I feel are good as a trilogy. And, like, why are you writing more books? Like, the only book series that I can really think of, well, I mean, Percy Jackson is not a trilogy. And there's, like, 5 books, but it's 3 sets of 5 books. And then he has new ones coming out, which I don't have yet.
Right.
But, like, or, like, Anne McCaffrey, The Dragon Riders of Pern. I like that series because all the books have, like, the same characters, but most of them aren't following the same character each book.
Okay.
So I kind of like that. But sometimes I'm just, like, 3 and I'm done.
Yeah.
Like Hunger Games, that was a perfect trilogy. Although I did really like Sunrise on the Reaping.
The drawback of a trilogy is waiting for the next one and the next
Yes.
one. Especially in some authors' cases, because they take forever
Yes.
to write more books.
Yes, Patrick Rothfuss. Never going to finish his trilogy.
Martin.
Probably never going to finish his. That's not a trilogy, that's a series. But probably never going to finish that. Also, I find that a lot of time trilogies suffer from middle book syndrome, where like the middle book, I say that, they're not as strong because they're really just there to like move the story along.
Right. Right.
But thinking of that, Catching Fire is my favorite Hunger Games book, which is the second book. So that's not always true, but sometimes trilogies have middle book syndrome, and I don't like that. Okay, heroes or villains?
Ooh. I tend to go with heroes, I think.
Me too.
Yeah.
Even in video games, I can't be the bad guy. Like I feel bad about being mean in a video game.
Yeah.
So heroes for me too.
For example, when I was reading Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I had to stop in the middle, and I didn't want to stop and reread The Hunger Games.
Yes.
So I watched all 3 movies really fast because I couldn't stand
Sympathizing with
yes,
Snow.
I
Yes.
had to go get my hate back up.
I mentioned that in my Hunger Games blog.
Oh, did you?
And I have a picture on my phone. I can put it up here of the post-it note that you wrote. You
Oh.
wrote that in. Well, it's right here.
Too
Hold
funny.
that. See.
Spoiler alert, I had to stop and watch the movies again halfway through because I got mad at crying over Snow.
Yeah. See. Here's the.
Yep,
you
there we
can't
go.
really read it because it's washed out. But it's right here. I can put a picture of it. So. Yep. I kept that in there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. Heroes for me too.
Interesting. Good question.
Okay. A book you want everyone to read.
Night Circus.
I knew you were going to say that.
No.
It's my mom's favorite book.
Also, though, there's...
It's by Erin Morgenstern.
I can't remember the author. Diamond Eye. It's about a female Russian sniper in World War II.
That's when you were telling me that you think Florence Pugh would be great for it.
Yes, she would be
Who
perfect
she
for
did
it.
not call Florence. She called her Frances.
Frances.
Kate Quinn.
Kate Quinn.
What else did Kate Quinn write? That name sounds familiar to me.
She's a Russian sniper in World War II. She's got the highest kill rate of any soldier, not just women. And she's like in it. And then, because her kill rate is so high, they choose her for a PR tour to come to United States. And she makes friends with Eleanor Roosevelt. And I've always been a great English student, but not so much history, etc. So this past year, I've really been getting into historical fiction. And I picked that up as an ARC, and I've read it at least 5 times, wound up buying it. And I love the writing, I love the character, and it's just one of those people I don't want to let go.
Yeah. I've never read a Kate Quinn book, but looking through her Goodreads, some of the covers look familiar to me. I've never read that. I did read Night Circus. I was not a fan. I might like it better now. I read it like 15 years ago, so I might like when it first came out.
It's one of the few books that, you know, usually when you're reading a book, you want to kind of get to the end and see what happens. But with this one, I made myself slow down because I didn't want to give up the characters. Yeah. I just love them, and I felt like they were part of my life, and I didn't want to let them go. So that's, you know.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm always going to plug The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. That is one of my favorite books ever. For different genres, yes. Mom's the one that got Chauncey for me. For different genres, oh, I can't get it out. For sci-fi, Recursion by Blake Crouch. Fabulous book. It like broke my brain when I read it. It's about like alternate reality timelines, redos. It's very cool.
I think I would like that.
I think you would too. A lot of people like Dark Matter. That's their favorite Blake Crouch sci-fi, but I like Recursion better. For horror, My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. It's one of my favorite horror books. It's just really fun and campy and 80s, and I love Grady Hendrix because he does a really good job of like horror but funny. And every one of his books, hold on.
Oh no. Where are your
There it is.
questions?
Every one of his books has at least one scene in it that I'm like, I remember that scene. Like there's a scene I read in this that I'm like, I think about way too often. so in every one of his books, when I think about like Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires,
Right.
there's a scene in the attic where there's like the bugs crawling in the ear, blah. Ooh, or the rats. Ugh. Obviously, they didn't get to you as much as they got to me. Okay, recommend an underrated book, which Diamond Eye might be,
Yeah.
because I've never heard of that. Working a bookstore has got to be something that you want everyone to read that...
Honestly, Diamond Eye I've been
Diamond Eye,
telling a lot of
okay,
people
wait.
about because
Okay.
I think people have... I mean, I didn't hear any hype about it,
Yeah.
really. It's just
I've
because
never
I got
heard
the
of
arc
it.
and read it, but yeah.
Nice. Mine is a strange one. I have two. One of them is Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. This is one of my favorite books. It is about these two college friends that have grown apart, and then one of them calls the other one to be a nanny to her stepchildren because she is married to like this big senator political guy, and the stepchildren are weird in that anytime they get over emotional, they burst into flames.
Oh.
And this woman doesn't want the public to know that.
Uh-huh.
And so she asks her old friend to come be the nanny. And it's just really about like found family and overcoming crappy families. And I just really like it. Oh, my light just died.
Whoops.
Shoot.
I'll come closer to the light.
Okay, well, we gotta film this because my mom has to leave today, so we're gonna just like go with it. So sorry for the weird lighting the rest of the movie. Okay, not movie, this is a movie. The other book I have, but it's like down there. The other book is The Egg Child by Lorna Baxter. Yes. I don't remember.
It's tiny.
It's so tiny. I don't remember where I got this. Probably from a garage sale. Probably because I looked at it and it had a Pegasus.
Yes.
And I was like, hey, I want that book. This is just a very strange fantasy book that I have read way too many times. Where it's like a kingdom where there's 4 different kingdoms. And they like each have, like one is about the moon, like controls the moon. One does the sun. One does plants. One does like minerals and stuff like that. And then there's a mysterious egg child that gets dropped off in like the plant kingdom, and the cousins, so the plant Rosemary and then her cousin Jasper, who's for the minerals, have to like take the egg child to some place. But there's also like someone following them who wants the egg child.
My goodness.
Yeah. It's just I think I looked on Goodreads and it has 5 written reviews. And this book came out in like 70 something? 8 maybe? Yep, 1978. So, not many people have read it, so definitely an underhyped book. I love this book.
Okay.
If you're looking for, like, fantasy for your kids, because clearly it's short.
Yeah.
But I love it. I've read it so many times. In fact, I kind of want to read it again, because I found it in my dad's basement. I didn't know where it was, and I found it, and now I want to read it again. Okay, next question. The last book you finished.
I just finished.
Oh, you just finished. What was it called? Black Forest?
Black Forest, Blue Sky.
By, we think it's Owen.
Yes.
Eowyn. Mom's gonna go get it.
Hold that thought. This one right here, Blackwoods, Blue Sky. Right here.
By, we think it's pronounced Owen or
Owen.
Eowyn. I'm not quite sure. If you know, let me know. Ivy.
Also wrote Snow Child, New York Times bestselling.
Which someone I just watched, someone's TBR Zero, had that book and was talking about it. I can't remember who it was. Anyway.
Unforgettable reimagining of Beauty and the Beast that asks the questions, can love save us from ourselves? Beautiful. It's way out in the Alaskan wilderness, and it's very much a strong female characters, mom and daughter. Endurance, learning new things, pushing yourself beyond boundaries, and realizing that love can come in places you never imagined it would. Good book. Really
Nice.
good. Once again.
I had to look mine up because I couldn't remember. It's been over a week since I finished a book because Mom's been here, my brother's been visiting. I'm about to finish The Resurrectionist. That's the extreme horror book I'm reading on my Kindle right now, but I haven't finished it. So the last book I finished was Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. It was an audiobook. It is a gothic, sapphic vampire story. It's a retelling of Carmilla, which Carmilla was the first, considered the first vampire novel. It was written 26 years before Dracula.
We've had lots of people asking for Carmilla at work.
Yeah.
At the bookstore.
I don't remember who wrote it. I've never read it, but Hunger Stone, very good. So it was a rewriting of that. I really liked it. The last book you bought. Did you buy a book when we went shopping? No? No, she spent all her money on us. So, I mean, technically, the last books I bought were she bought them because she paid for them.
Actually, I bought this one.
Did you? Because it's an ARC.
Oh, no, I didn't buy that one. I did just buy one, though. I don't remember. Maybe it'll come to me.
Mom gets a lot of ARCs from Barnes & Noble, so she doesn't buy books very often. The last book I bought that actually, again, she paid for was The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy and The Undermining of Twyla and Frank. It's a duology. I don't know if it's going to be a trilogy or a series, but I'm listening to they're by Megan Bannon. I'm listening to The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy. Love it so far. And so when they had the sequel, we were at Barnes & Noble getting my daughter something. Oh, and we were getting gifts for my friend. When I saw these, I decided to pick them up. So this is like paranormal fantasy romance, not at all what I expected, but really enjoying it. The banter is very fun, very funny. I love the characters.
Cool.
The audiobook is really good. So, but it's a book that I can see myself reading again. So I went ahead and got a copy. The last book I paid for was probably, I guess it was the library book haul, where I got the 22 books for $39.
Yeah. What a deal.
Yeah, so I don't remember the last one that was in that stack, but it was probably from that. So you can go check out that video. That's the video posted before this. Was my library haul, the books that I found at my library sale. Okay. Weirdest thing you've used as a bookmark?
I don't know, but I work mostly in the kids department at Barnes & Noble, and I found a piece of cheese inside a book at work once.
Interesting. I wonder if it was a bookmark.
Still wrapped, thankfully.
Well, at least it was still wrapped.
I don't know. Random.
What is the weirdest thing? My daughter used my son's school ID because she needed a bookmark and it was right there, so she's used that. I mean, mine's normal. Receipts. I use receipts as bookmarks.
Honestly, I hope this doesn't hurt anybody's feelings, but I just usually turn the corner of the page down. I mean, unless it's a hardcover that I'm really saving, because I carry the book with me a lot, and bookmarks tend to fall out.
Yeah, that happened to mine over the
I tend to just fold the page down.
That's fine. I
feel like it's loving the book.
Yeah. I started treating my books not more roughly, but like showing that I also crack the spine, which a lot of people don't like. I love cracking the spine. Sometimes
Books,
in these little
not
tiny
things.
Are you sure?
Yes. Maybe.
In these like little tiny trade paperbacks, you have to crack the
You
spine
have to,
because
'cause
the
you can't
words
give
go
it
all the
time.
way to the middle and you
They
can't
do.
read them.
I do.
Usually I just use receipts. Actually, I have a whole bunch of bookmarks, and my husband just bought me brand new bookmarks because he saw that I kept using. Oh, I know what one of the weirdest things that I used recently. So I coach Girls on the Run.
Yes.
And one day I came home with these pieces of paper that had like prompts. We were learning about, I think we were learning about empathy. So it was like situations during our run, and
Okay.
for some reason they were in my pocket, and then I put them on my table, and I needed a bookmark and I couldn't find one, so I used
There it
one of
was.
those. So, but besides that, I actually just usually use bookmarks, especially now that Mike bought me, because he bought me those 5 Sailor Moon ones.
Oh, cool.
Have you not seen them? I guess I showed them to my brother.
I don't think so.
I will have to show them to you.
I'd
but
love to see 'em.
there's 5 different ones, like one for each of the inner Senshi scouts. So I've been using that. Used books, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Obviously, I went to my library sale and got books.
Yes.
I mean, I don't mind new books, but I don't mind used books either. That was a short one. Top 3 favorite genres.
Mystery, crime mystery especially, historical fiction, and horror/fantasy? Not really. I don't know.
When's the last horror book you read? I would not say horror is your top
Horror
genre.
movies more, I guess.
Yes.
Fantasy, because I've discovered Sanderson and some other people over in that area.
She read Trust in the Emerald Sea. Last year, she was reading that book, and at the same time I was reading it. We didn't know that we were reading it at the same time. So,
It's the first Sanderson book I've ever read. My one of the managers that I work with is a huge Sanderson fan, and she said that would be a good one to start with, and I did love it.
That was the 4th book of his that I'd read.
Good stuff.
I like him. My top 3 genre: horror, duh, probably fantasy, and then I would say like mystery thriller.
Yeah,
But
I love
like
a good mystery.
really, honestly, horror. Sometimes I'm kind of getting into romance a little bit, but historical fiction, no thank you. Contemporary fiction, not really my thing. No, I mostly read horror. Which, if you're not new here, you would know that. Borrow or buy? Yeah, hard for you because you just borrow arcs a lot.
Yeah,
You don't buy books very often.
I don't really. Borrowing is good.
I honestly use my library a whole lot because I don't like buying books I haven't read.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what if I don't like it and then I wasted the money?
Right.
But there's not very many books that I want to reread. So like, I've gotten over that a little bit now, especially since I've gone to the library sale. Because the books were like $1. So I'm like, I can spend $1 on this. And if it's not
Exactly.
bad, and it helps the library. But I
Sure.
use my library so much. I get physical books from them. I use Libby. I use Hoopla. So like all of my audiobooks are from the library.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, I'm more of a borrow than a buy. Character or plot?
Character.
I think so too.
A sucker for a good character.
Chauncey, best character ever. Love that boy. Yeah, as Chelsea said in her video, like, you can forgive a bad plot if you love the characters.
I agree with that.
But, like, you can't, it's harder to love a plot and not love the characters.
I agree.
So, yeah, characters for me too.
Definitely.
Long or short books?
I like long ones.
And what's a long book to you? Well, like, some people would say that, like, 300 pages is a long book. But to me, a long book is like a Sanderson book that's, like, 500 plus pages.
3 to 4 is a good size for me, I think.
Yeah. I usually I like longer books, especially, I like fantasy books to be longer because there's usually more that needs to happen.
Right.
Horror books, I usually like shorter, but still like 300 pages because,
Yeah.
I mean, you can really drag on a book, and horror books I don't want to drag on most of the time.
Right.
I
when
mean,
you get
some
to
of
it.
them, but...
Makes sense.
So another it kind of depends on the situation. Okay, long or short chapters?
I kind of like a blend of both. Depending on where the action is going and whether you like check in on a character real quick that hasn't been around a while and then go back to the main story. Yeah. What about you?
I don't really have a preference. Sometimes I like short chapters because I read before bed and I like to read a chapter break.
Yes.
So like if I'm getting tired, I'm like, I hope the chapter's really short.
Right.
But when I'm just reading, I don't really have a preference. I don't really care. Okay. Name the first 3 books you think of.
Well, we've just been talking.
Okay, we'll name 3 of them.
Night Circus. I'm blanking out.
You can't think of a single book? There's one in your... Literally one in your lap. Just look down.
I don't know. I'm blanking. We're gonna have to fix this. I don't know.
Okay. First 3 books I can think of. I was thinking of How I'll Kill You, which is a horror thriller that I read last year. The Egg Child, because I can see it right there. And then, what was the other one I was thinking of? I think I was thinking of Mistborn, because we were talking about Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah.
So.
Uh,
And I thought of How I'll Kill You because it's right here. So when I picked up My Best Friend's Exorcism, I saw it. So that's why I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
I like that book. It's weird. Okay. All right. Books that make you laugh or books that make you cry?
books that make me cry. Yeah.
I'm not surprised by that either. Mine is books that make me laugh because I don't like to cry.
Okay.
But I do tear up a lot. But I like books that make me laugh.
I can see that.
Our world or fictional worlds? Our world or fictional worlds? That's hard to say.
Fictional worlds. Yeah. Because I like to jump outside of my comfort zone and just discover. The thing about reading is when you read, you can go anywhere you want to go
Mhm.
in an instant and come back if you need to and go back out if you want to. And
Yeah.
it's just a magical, yeah.
Um, Mine depends on the situation again. For fantasy, I prefer, most of the time I prefer fantasy, like fictional worlds. Sometimes, like I'm reading a romance right now, like it's a romance, but it's like set in Scotland, but it has to do with the Loch Ness Monster. So like, if it's cryptids or something, I don't mind our world.
Uh-huh.
But usually
Okay.
fantasy, I want like fictional worlds. But like horror, I like our world better because it's scarier, I think. Because it could maybe happen.
I can
mean,
see
probably
that.
not. But oops, my phone closed. Okay. Audiobooks, yes or no?
No.
Yeah, you're not an audiobook person.
Yeah.
I have recently, within the last 2 or 3 years, become an audiobook person. I listen to audiobooks while I work out.
That's a good idea.
So,
Yeah.
or sometimes at work or when I'm driving. So and there's some people like Brandon Sanderson, I find his books easier to digest when I listen to them as an audiobook. I listened to Tress as an audiobook and I loved it.
I know Julie likes audiobooks a lot, and I think it's partly because the characters come alive for her that way. I love listening to music. Whenever I'm at home or driving or anything, music is my thing. I kind of have to have it in the background, so maybe that's why I don't care for. I don't
Maybe.
miss the audiobooks because
Yeah.
music fills my life.
Well, and I don't listen to audiobooks at home. I listen, except for when I'm working out. When I read at home, I read books and I put like YouTube or something on in the background.
Okay.
But like out in the car or like where my son's school is about 20 minutes from here. So when I'm driving out there, I listen to an audiobook or
Yeah.
I've been waiting for him to get out of camp. So I listen to audiobooks while I'm sitting there.
Uh-huh.
But at home, I don't listen to audiobooks. But I do really like them. Do you ever judge a book by its cover?
No.
You know, really?
Uh,
Really? There's some books that I'm like,
well, ever is a big word, so yes, sometimes.
I typically don't, but there are some books that I'm like, I have no interest in that because of what the cover looks like. Or there are some books that I love that I'm like, God, this cover sucks. It doesn't tell you anything about the book. So
Yeah.
sometimes I do, but that usually won't stop me from reading it. But I will judge the cover. Book to movie or book to TV adaptation?
Movies. I think movies probably. Just thinking about stuff. Movies. Yeah.
This is another, it depends on the situation.
Sure.
If it's a horror, I'm going to want a movie
Yes.
because they're over faster.
Yes.
But like fantasy a lot, I think they need a TV because you just like need the longer time.
Okay.
And like I like some horror TVs, but shows and series, but I like horror movies better. But there's some that need to be
Sure.
TV shows. Okay, a movie or TV adaptation you preferred more than the book. You probably haven't read very many books that have been adapted.
Not a lot.
Okay, my number one book that I will say every time, I just lost it. Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. I adore that movie. I read the book last year.
Not so much.
No, it did not age well for one thing. And I didn't like the characters. And I love that movie so much. And part of what makes the movie so great is the soundtrack. And obviously you don't have that in a book.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't like the characters.
I will have to say, recently, so I had never seen the stage show or the movie of Wicked. And I kind of wanted to read the book before I saw it. And so I bought the book at work. And I have
So
to
that
say,
might be the last book
that
you
might be
bought.
the last book I bought. And I'm not the kind of person who gives up on things, although as I age a little bit.
Yes,
I think
life's too short to read books you
to read
hate.
books you hate, yes. But I really struggled with that book, and the other night we watched Wicked here, and loved it absolutely.
good.
And I know everybody says there's nothing like the book. And
It really isn't.
Thank goodness it's not.
Yeah. Although, I think if they made a movie of the book,
Yeah?
it would be cool. It would probably be rated R.
Yes.
Like, I like the idea of the book. I've read the book twice. At least twice.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I might have read it 3 times. But it's not like the play at all.
Yeah.
I can't think. There was another one. My friend would say Forrest Gump. She said the book is really boring, but she really likes the movie.
Interesting.
That's what Stacy would say. I had another one, but I can't remember what it is. I just remember Nick and Nora. Gosh, that book was awful. Okay, last question, which we kind of talked about earlier because I didn't realize it was a question later. Series or standalones?
I like series. For the most part. Yeah. Well, no, not really. It depends on the books. I would have to say overall series. Yeah.
Mine would probably be standalones because I read mostly horror, and there are some horror series, but
Not that many.
not that many, and I haven't really enjoyed the ones. Well, yeah. Like I read the, I don't remember what the whole series is called. The first one's called Feed from Mira Grant, who is, that's the pen name for Shauna Maguire.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who she is. Who they are? They may be non-binary. Anyway, Shauna Maguire writes horror books as Mira Grant.
Okay.
And I listened, they have a trilogy about like zombies that I listened to a couple years ago, and I really liked the first 2 books, and the 3rd book was okay. So like I mostly read standalones, but sometimes like fantasies I don't mind a series. I guess the only series I read really are fantasy series. Or like manga, that's kind of a series.
I think I've read a lot more, read more standalones than I have series.
It also depends on the characters, because like House in the Cerulean Sea got a sequel, and I did not like the sequel as much. Like I don't feel like it needed one. And TJ Klune said that he is going to write a 3rd book.
Oh.
In that universe, it's going to be from Lucy's perspective.
Interesting.
So like I would have preferred that one to be a standalone.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of controversial. I think a lot of people like the new book, but I just didn't. It didn't have the same heart for me. And I love House in the Cerulean Sea, obviously.
It is good.
And then the last question is to tag some people. So I don't. If you want to do this tag video, do it. I don't really have. Well, like the people I would tag would be like Chelsea, and she already did it because I got this from her. So if you're interested, answer these questions and tag me, and I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed. Anything else?
No, I'm glad we finally got to do this.
Yes, I've seen my mom this is the 3rd time we've gotten together since I started my booktube channel, and every time we're like, we're gonna film, and we always run out of time.
So we did it this
time. But our
time.
last 2 trips have been like 3 days.
Yes.
Each. And this one was a whole week, and granted, you are leaving town in an hour.
Yes. An hour.
Yes. We got it done. We got it done. You can finally see my filming setup. And
yes. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
So now, I want to know, have you read any of these books, and what did you think? All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.